Say we go. Huh. Yo, what up, guys? Been a while. So we'll wait till a couple of people join here. I don't have too long, unfortunately. Um, Kane O'Hara, if you're being serious, I don't even know what to tell you, bro. I'm not a target sir kind of guy, dude. Guess you'll have to wait and watch. What's up, Logan? Yo, yo. All right, we got about 23 people watching, so should be enough to get going here. So what's happening, guys? I miss hanging with you guys. I know I was kind of going steady on the streams for a while there, and then obviously I've fallen off on Twitter. It's happened to Manuel, Maz Tech, Donald Duck, Stingray, my man. What's happening? So yeah, sorry for the delay. The good news is I think I finally got this fucking stream. I love you too, Jonathan. I think I finally got this fucking streaming thing figured out. So hopefully it's clear and the audio's good. But anyways, yeah, stoked to do another stream with you guys. As many of you know, I've obviously been working on a project with Mr. TA and Scarface, and so that's been keeping me busy, as well as just my real life shit. So hopefully you in the Discord have been gleaning away and getting some money. We've posted a couple of great trades lately, right? So what's up, JP? Welcome. So can I blow a quick kiss? A kiss to the mic. I don't know, Mary. Are you actually a girl, or else are you getting me on some gay shit? Yeah, J Par. I've been doing these streams for a while. If you go back on my YouTube, I've posted plenty of them. They're all up there for free for you guys to check out. Lots of information to be gleaned, even in the old videos. Donald Duck, I have a group I made with Scarface and Mr. TA. If you're in my Discord, check out the announcement section or check out any of our Twitters. There's details there. But enough about that. Let's talk about price. Let's talk about what's happening. Let's drop some knowledge on you. So your response, Mary, makes me think that you're not actually a girl. So I'm not going to give you a kiss, unfortunately. Hey, dude, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but what up? So some crazy shit happening in the charts. So I'm gonna drop a little bit of knowledge on y'all, a little bit of glean for you, what I'm expecting in this fucking move here, and then I'll go over Ethereum as well, because those are kind of the two main things I've been trading. And then that's it. We'll fucking move on. Let's see here. Oh my god, what the fuck? Where's one where I can delete all the drawings? As you guys can see, I've barely gotten better at fucking TradingView. I still suck. So any of those wondering if I've been practicing my TradingView skills in the time that I've been away from live streaming, the answer is no. I am still garbage. I'll only check out Durbid if you give me your link. Anyways, okay, so Cred, what's happening, bro? Now I'm nervous. If I know that Cred is watching the live stream, I'm nervous. All right, I'm going to stop looking at the chat here for a minute because there's too many of y'all talking at the same time. So, yeah, welcome back. For those of you that have, been following me for a long time, holy shit, I appreciate all of you so much. My account recently broke 20,000, and it's still crazy to me that this many of you are interested in what some random dude from Canada has to say. And that you tune in when I do live streams and you guys are commenting and being active on my posts and are in my Discord and commenting and liking, and it means a lot to me. I know it takes 2 seconds and it doesn't seem like much, but I try and get back to as many of you as possible. I hope all of you know that how much I appreciate you, and I enjoy doing this for you guys. I love helping people. Something I'm very passionate about is teaching and sharing, and I love all you guys. So thanks for tuning in now, and for all of those who have been with me for a long time, thank you. And all of those new followers that I have now, thank you all as well. You guys are the reason I continually avoid my real life duties to hang out on Twitter and on Discord and do this kind of shit while neglecting my girlfriend and other responsibilities. So let's talk about the markets. So I seem to have pretty good luck where I've been catching a lot of moves lately. Hopefully some of you have followed along between the Discord and Twitter, where we were able to get some nice moves on not only Bitcoin, but on ETH as well over the past couple of days. So for those of you that don't know, that are new to following me, and this is the first live stream you've seen, I trade purely based on price action. So you'll only pretty much see horizontal lines and magic rectangles for me. You're not going to see many trend lines or indicators or anything like that. So if you're asking what I think about, some sort of divergence or, some sort of oscillator or shit like that, I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you because I don't use them. I trade purely based on price. And speaking of price action, things are looking good right now. So to kind of go over Bitcoin, I'm going to explain what I think is happening, where I think we're going, the setup that I use to get long, as well as potential setups that you can use to get long, and things like that. So we'll do that. We'll quickly, yes, fucking cred. Oi, fuck, what up, Trader? As these couple of legends in here. So, anyways, we'll go over Bitcoin. Like I said, I'll show you the move I think that we're getting into here, and where I think we could go. And then I'll go over ETH as well. Me personally, I trade a lot of Forex. I don't post a ton of my Forex stuff on Twitter because it doesn't seem to get any likes. No one seems to care, even though Forex, in my opinion, is a lot easier to trade than Bitcoin. Some sites and brokers allow you to do 500 to 1 leverage. And you just have way more price history to go on. So it blows my mind a little that more people aren't at least exploring Forex and other markets, especially during times like we had here where Bitcoin was just going sideways and all altcoins have been getting crushed. So don't be afraid to expand your horizons. But in terms of crypto, the main stuff that I trade outside of my fucking library coin bag that I'm still dragging around for 6 months now is Bitcoin, obviously on BitMEX, and then I trade ETH. I trade ETH on MEX as well, but I also traded a little bit on Bitfinex. I have just like a large spot holding, for lack of a better term, of ETH on Bitfinex that I'll buy and sell, using low leverage just when ETH is making major price swings. So I relonged my ETH bag around 275, and I posted that on Twitter for you guys, and I'm holding that for the foreseeable future here. So Bitcoin. Let's get into it. So as I'm sure you saw, everyone on Twitter talking about our first higher low of the year, right? And it's not a huge higher low, but it is a higher low. And to me, what I'm seeing is we have a low, a high, and then a higher low, right? So this is the daily chart. This is a high time frame, and obviously, I always like to remind people to zoom out to maintain your perspective. So at the end of the day, here's where we are. Now, does this look any different than, the start of this or the start of this? Like, of course not, right? This could very much be an up move before a lower high, or maybe we break out this high and an up move and then a lower high here. And then a continuation of the downtrend and, breaking through these lows finally. Very well could happen, but there's no reason to not be long here, and here and here. Historically, Bitcoin has been a very good buy, at 6,000. Every time it's come down into 6,000s, if you just would have bought it, from here when it got down into the 6,000s here, down here, or here, you would have made money. And this is appearing to be the case again now. Does that mean 6,000 is the bottom? I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is to be a good trader, you got to be fluid. Don't be tied to your bias. Be bullish or bearish when you're looking for a setup. So if your higher time frame analysis leads you to be bullish, then you're looking for bullish setups on the low time frame. That does not mean that you should ignore any potential bearish signs. Be prepared to flip and go short if necessary. Trade the price action that's in front of you rather than being tied to one bias, whether it's bullish the entire time, bearish the entire time. Don't be one of those people that only knows how to long or only knows how to short. And you saw a lot of these people come out during this bear market that we've had. People who were only shorting, and when it was going down, they looked smart, and then when we start going up, they looked dumb. So don't be tied to a bias. Be fluid. Be able to flip, but do have the higher time frame context in mind at all times. I mean, yes, on the weekly we have a low, a high, and a higher low. So it's looking very bullish right now. But we also have a huge downtrend here that we're in. So keep that in mind to temper your bullishness. That said, there's no reason that if we're going to make a lower high even, or potentially a higher high, there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting in longs on the way up here. So starting on the daily, what I kind of did in my kind of analysis for this is what we're forming here is a potential uptrend on the daily, right? So we have a low, a high, a higher low, and for this to be a major uptrend on the daily, we want to see a higher high form, right? We want to see this high get broken, so that would be a low, a high, a higher low, and then a higher high, right? Great. Are you a position trader who is not going to be looking at the charts for every single day, maybe once a day? Then all you would have to do really is say, okay, well, you have your magic rectangle block here, right? The down candle before the up move that broke market structure. Then we had a low form, a high. We had a lower low, but it's higher than this low. And basically the logic, if you're just looking at the daily chart, just the daily, the logic here is what? The logic is that if this is going to be an uptrend, this low should now hold, right? That is the premise for bullishness here, is that if this is going to be an uptrend, this low should now hold. So you had multiple days here where you could be looking for longs, and obviously if you've been paying attention to Twitter, this seemed like the eternal range that we were never going to break out of here. This chop, right? But in reality, I mean, this was a couple of weeks. It's not that long. But when you're zoomed in and you're looking at the charts every day, all day on the 30-minute time frame, it looks like we were in this range forever and we were never going to get out of it, right? So always zoom out. But this is kind of how I analyzed it, right? I said basically for the higher time frame, if this is going to be an uptrend, this low is going to hold. Okay, and so what I've done here is I've marked a low, a high, and then a higher low. We have this kind of support resistance area here that was, this block here, and this is kind of basically 6,800, and we want this to now become support, right? If this low is going to hold, we want this to become support to continue upwards. And to me, where am I going to target? Well, what I did here is I took the range of this last swing, and I marked off the 50% line. I know this isn't exact, I'm not using this fucking thing. Right? And I marked it off, and then I zoomed in, and I said, okay, well, we're breaking out of this range finally. We have some nice even highs here. So not only do we have the 50% of this last swing, right? The market returning to equilibrium, but we also have a couple of a swing high here, or a double top, whatever you want to call it, liquidity pool that could be rated as well. So to me, this seems like a very reasonable short-term target for Bitcoin. If we are going to continue this bullishness, which I think we are. I mean, there's no reason not to think that this is going to continue going up right now. Like, I'm not going to be upset if this goes up. I own a lot of Bitcoin, so to me, going up is good. And I think this is a reasonable target to expect here. But don't forget, we have some upside resistance still. So this very well, could turn around here. So notice our little BitMEX candle spiked right into this, block here, basically. And then we came down, and then we are now back up right in wicking into this block. So what I would like to see is, these kind of weekly levels that I have marked here. And the top of this range. I mean, so here's the long that you could have played. If you missed getting long here, a retest of the top of the range was another entry, right? So if we're breaking out of this range and it's legit, the retest of the range is an entry. Notice how down here, if you would have tried to short the retest, you were wrong, right? But if we were to break through the bottom of this range, you don't just short the bottom because then you get caught here, right? This is dumping through. Imagine we're here, right? This is dumping through. You short it. Oh, we broke this swing low, we're going down, and then it comes and rips right back in your face, right? So wait for confirmation, right? Wait for the easy setup. And I had a lot of people tweeting me, asking me, I'm not posting a lot of trades in here. I mean, yeah, we were ranging here. You could have shorted here and long down here and short here, but you could also get wrecked because to me, there was no trade that ticked off all my boxes in terms of things I look for in a setup. The setup that became clear to me was this one, and this is something that I actually I've improved on. Watching Trader SZ's videos, and I suggest all of you do that as well. But he calls it a pivot. This is an order block, but basically what I saw here was within this range, we started closing above the 50% of the range, right? Pretty consistently. Like here, we were below it. But then once we created this order block, we basically started respecting the 50% of the range. And we also were respecting the 50% of the block itself. So we never closed below the 50% of this block. So to me, this gave me a very easy area to say, okay, well, above this, I think we go up. And if we get below the 50%, I think we're going to go down. And it's like, oh, well, you can't be wrong if it's up or down. It's like, but the bottom line is I'm prepared for either scenario. And once it looked like we were staying above this, what you want to do is have the higher time frame in mind, right? If we think that this is a higher low, we want to see a higher high formed on the high time frame for this to be a huge uptrend, right? Well, market structure is going to shift on the lower time frame first, okay? And that's what I'm looking for here. I'm saying, okay, well, obviously this is a higher low. This would be the ultimate target if this is going to be a huge uptrend. I can look for market structure to start shifting on the lower time frame first. So on the 4 hour, we had the swing high broke. Came back in, and we took off. Let's say you didn't, get in. You weren't staring at your computer at that exact moment. There was multiple opportunities here where you had the exact same thing we're seeing on the higher time frame, you're seeing now on the 1 hour. Okay, we have a low, a high, and then a higher low. Right? If we think that this is going to be an uptrend, this high needs to get taken out. And this low needs to hold. So that's your logic for your trade setup. Right? A low, a high, a higher low. We expect this to get taken out, and we expect this low to get held. So what you're doing is you're buying on a retrace into an order block on the lower time frame. So you have the high over there to the left. We were looking at it on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, whatever it was. Now on the 15-minute, you can see the same thing happen, right? A low, a high, a higher low. This needs to get taken out. So market structure, all I'm trying to illustrate here is that market structure will shift on the lower time frame first. Okay? That's all I'm trying to illustrate here. And so what I did is I went down, I zoomed in, and I think I posted this one on Twitter, but basically, to me, now that we were holding the 50% of this, I wanted to buy on a retrace into an order block, and I think I used the 1 hour. And I just marked off an order block here. So we had this order block that formed, this up move. And then I basically said this low has to hold. So I'm going to buy on a retest, into, I mean, this is a fucking fucked up candle, but to me, this is still an order block here. And I can show you guys, but I posted and timestamped that I entered like $3 off the low. And this was the order block I used. I ignored the wicks here. I don't know if that's the legit way to do it. Maybe I had to include those wicks, but to me, that was just noise. This is what mattered to me. We had a down candle before an up move, okay? The high of the candle was broken. Ignore this wick again. To me, validating it, I mean, look, the wick was broken here before it retraced into it. So fuck you if you think that's wrong. But basically, I bought on this wick here, and I got in at like 6,352. But you could have traded this on, multiple different time frames, right? This is just me entering on the 1 hour. But I'm not just entering on a retrace into an order block, right? I'm within a 4-hour bullish order block, right? I'm also near the equilibrium of the trading range, right? There's the equilibrium of the trading range. I'm also near the equilibrium of the order block. Close enough, right? So not only am I near a bunch of key levels, because what good is an order block in the middle of nowhere? You have to have higher time frame context around your setup. And the higher time frame context is what? We had a low, a high, a higher low forming, right? So we're expecting bullishness on the higher time frame. Go down to the lower time frame, right? I mean, here, bullishness on the higher time frame. We're saying, okay, we just touched this daily order block. That's kind of formed the low. We're expecting bullishness, so you zoom in. We formed a range, you mark off the range, and you wait, right? This is just a deviation. This was just a deviation, but we were forming a low, a high, a higher low. Here's bullish market structure forming. A low, a high, higher low, higher high, a higher low. I mean, this is basic stuff, but I mean, this stuff works. So I had all of the higher time frame context. I had an uptrend forming on the lower time frames, and then I marked off a bunch of key levels. I'm within a bullish 4-hour area. I'm above the EQ of the order block. I'm around the EQ of the range. So if we're trading a range, where do we want to be taking longs? Below the equilibrium, right? You want to be taking longs in the bottom part of the range, not the top. So that also lined up. And then I zoomed in and I found an order block within the order block to buy on a retrace, because market structure on the hourly broke high here, right? This is a market structure. Here's a swing high. That's a higher high, and this is a higher low, and that's a higher low. And this shifted on the hourly before you ever saw it shift on the 4-hour, right? You saw a market structure shift on the hourly here before you ever saw it happen on the 4-hour. So to me, that's what price is fractal means, is that you're going to be able to break down the higher time frame into lower time frames. And you just got to remember that this 1-hour chart is just, 4 of these candles is one 4-hour candle, and 3 4-hour candles is a 12-hour candle. That's how I, kind of define price being fractal. So that's all I did. I looked for a retrace into an order block. I had tons of bullish confluence in terms of key levels, market structure, higher time frame perspective, and then I was targeting this high initially. And obviously we've run higher. If you didn't get in this long, you could have longed on the retrace of the top of the range, because logically, if this range is going to hold, this very well could have been a deviation, back into the range. But if the range held, which it did, you could have bought that. I believe if you look at the daily, we never closed back within the range here, right? So you had a whole day where we got back into the range, but we closed well above it. I mean, even if you would have entered at 6,700, right? Near a weekly level, and you're just targeting, the hold on here. So let's say this is the day where we're in the range and we closed well above it, right? But if you would have even entered at 6,700, just targeting these highs, there's a trade there that gives you the RR that this makes sense, right? So if you think we're going to take out, the wick or, up into this resistance area, the RR for a trade was here below one of these swing lows, right? You could have had your stop down here. Getting in at 6,700. That's not even the best entry, but that is confirmation. It's not a great entry, but you've confirmed that we're holding the top of the range. So that's all I did. That was the second setup that I saw. You could add on to a long there or gotten long if you weren't already long, and it offered you a good RR. The reason I didn't trade any of this shit really, I had a couple of trades, was because to me, none of the trades fit, kind of my ideal setup. This one did, because I had, okay, we're forming some bullishness. We had the bullish break in market structure. We're above all the key levels I want to be above. I'm going to buy on a retrace. And, you can get torn up in these moves. People who are live streaming, trading these ranges and shit, they might lose all of their money and liquidate their account before the money trade, which is here, shows up. This is the only trade you need to take in like a month, and you can fucking seriously grow your account if you can consistently pull out trades like this. I'm not suggesting you only trade once a month. I'm just saying, wouldn't you way rather take this high probability setup where the R&R is super tight? Your stop and your entry basically are, right on top of each other. I mean, just to this high, that's below the wick. Right? You could have it below this entire zone and still get a 3-1. I believe I had my stop much tighter. I had it under here. I didn't have it under these wicks. I mean, just to there, the RR is crazy, right? So, I mean, to me, this just kind of ticked all the boxes. If I was wrong, I'd be out right away. But everything was lining up and it looked really good, and that's why I took that trade. So, don't get too caught up being zoomed in. You can lose a lot of money trying to trade a range like this. Obviously, when a range forms, taking longs near the bottoms and shorts near the tops generally is a pretty safe trade. But this range, we'd been in it for a while, right? So eventually, we kept testing the top of the range. Does not make it stronger resistance. It makes it weaker because a bunch of people are shorting the top of this range and putting their stops up here till they eventually get butt fucked by Arthur, right? And then fucked again. So don't worry. All those people who are like, live streaming themselves trading, to me, that just throws off your whole mental game because you're going to be looking for trades when maybe a trade isn't there just because you're trying to entertain the people watching. So to me, that's a surefire way to blow your account. Trying to be in some sort of competition or some sort of stream where you're like, I have to be trading right now because I got to put results out for people. That's just psychologically going to fuck you up, especially if you're learning. Maybe if you're more experienced, sure, go ahead, do a trading competition, live stream yourself trading if you know what you're doing. But while you're learning, don't add any added pressures to yourself that don't need to be there. Have your defined rules. Don't enter a trade until all of the boxes are ticked, or else you'll find yourself losing money. I'm telling you right now, a lot of these guys on crypto Twitter are not going to be around 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And if you can't look at crypto, from a zoomed out perspective, saying, holy shit, if I can even just get one Bitcoin when it crosses all-time high, I'm going to have 20 grand. I mean, I don't know what you're doing. What if Bitcoin, that's just one. What if you have 10? You have a life-changing money can happen if you're just smart and you just realize that all you got to do in this game is preserve your capital and try and incrementally grow your portfolio in the most risk-averse way possible. The power of compounding is incredible. If you want to see a cool experiment, take out an Excel spreadsheet and just double a penny. So say you have 1 penny on day 1, day 2 you have 2 pennies, day 3 you have 4 pennies, day 4 you have 8 pennies, and just double the penny every single month, okay? And see how much money you have at the end of the month. The power of compounding is real, and people don't realize that. And if you can't zoom out and realize that this is a huge opportunity and you shouldn't be worried about trying to catch fucking a trade from 6,600 to 6,100 and realize that all I need to do is take safe setups that are going to acquire me more Bitcoin, you're not going to last the long term. So don't be afraid to zoom out. don't get caught up in this kind of chop. An obvious trade will always present itself. The market is not going anywhere. Don't rush into a trade because you don't want to miss the boat. There's always going to be an opportunity to get in. You just got to be looking for the right things and be aware. Don't be stupid and lose your money trying to, catch this pump only to, get stopped out here. Or chase this candle or chasing this candle right now. I guarantee you so many people are longing this right now, and they're all going to get fucked when they bring it back down and then take it off. So that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know. I kind of just started chatting there. As you guys know, I don't really have a ton of structure to these videos. Here's an area where we could see a retest. Okay? Back into these highs here. This is something you want to long the fuck out of. And that's not financial advice. That's just me saying, if you're targeting, at least back to here, you can have a really good RR trade, some sort of retest coming back into this area. It might not get that low. Where am I targeting? So in my opinion, if this is going to be an uptrend, right, a low, a high, a higher low, at the very least, we should get to equilibrium, 50% of this low to this high, that range, that's this level here. So I'm expecting us to get at least to here, which is about just under 7,200. And that lines up very well if you look at the hourly, because we have some nice clean highs up here. So that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. Maybe we get a retest back into this. The bottom line is this support and resistance level, this has to flip support now. If we get back under this level, I think we could go down. I think on the higher, on the off chance we somehow get back into this range, as long as this pivot holds, I think we're fine. As long as this low holds, we're fine. If we get back down, I don't want to see us get down below the range high again, but we could. And I would still look for longs down here because they could have a great potential for, serious expansion to the upside. But as long as this pivot holds, we should, see some interim bullishness. Like I said, remain unbiased in that we're very much in a large downtrend, but there's no reason not to be long right now, when it looks like we're going up. Don't be stuck in one mindset. Don't be too myopic in your focus. So that's kind of my thoughts. Don't long now. Wait for a retest. It will come. If you're looking to buy alts, don't buy this one that's already gone fucking up 100%, 200% in the last 2 weeks. Find the ones that are on the floor. Most alts. Let's go to the live chat, even though I know it's probably crazy in here already. Oh God. Okay. Can you blow a kiss to the mic? I read this already. When maple syrup oscillator Elliott wave strat, sir. Working on it, Craig. Great video though, but shit subject. You better not be talking about me. Please post Forex charts as well. Maybe I might make a new Twitter where I just trade Forex stuff. What trading platform do I use? I use Oanda. I'm in Canada, so I'm limited to 50 times leverage. Poor me. But there's tons of other ones out there. Oanda is the one I use. 10x or get the fuck out. Well, you know that you need a 10x to break even if you bought Ripple at all-time high. So let that sink in. I don't know what TD is, so need a higher high. To be a good trader, you need to be an Eagle System graduate. I cannot stress this enough, guys. If you guys have not taken the Eagle System, okay, if you don't understand that you can be learning from traders who are 100% certified to give only winning signals, and you don't have an Eagle System red t-shirt, okay, you're never going to get a Lambo, guys. So I suggest all of you go to Crypto Trendy's page, and tell him to go fuck himself, because that site is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. I hope you guys all know I was being facetious there. I'm not a fan of the Eagle trading system. Fuck that guy. I actually liked Crypto Trendy quite a bit before I saw that website. That thing reeks of scam. Some people are down 90% on their portfolio. And a lot of people, because I have my open DMs, send me their stories about how they are down X number of dollars, X number of percent from all-time high. They have family troubles because of it. They're losing money that they needed for their mortgage payment or for rent or for tuition. And the fact that this guy is going to release a site that says he's guaranteeing you profits and you're going to be traveling the world and having a Lambo makes me sick. And if I see that guy at World CryptoCon, you bet your ass I'm going to fucking say something to him. Yeah, that shit is a joke. That work took me out the bottom of my lung. Fat dab from my dude, RIP. My risk is fine, stop was too tight. All right. Price is fractal. Mayne, what is the 0.3 symbol you got in your watch list? That is like an index of all the big cap altcoins. So this is an index of, ETH and XRP and BCH. There's the formula there. I can post that in the Discord if that's of interest to you guys and you guys want to check that out. I actually got that from my man Morpheus, the Guppy God. Get some, bro. YouTube has night mode, as does everything. Where did you place your stop on that trade, roughly? If you don't want to tell me the exact number. I think it was at about 6.3 something. I can tell you exactly where if I find it here. Hold on. I entered on this wick, and my stop was right below this swing low. So I had like $2 a drawdown. It was like one of the best trades I've taken in a long time. Interbank price delivery algorithm is all you need to know, guys. How come everyone's asking cred questions here, guys? This is my goddamn live stream. All right, well, this looks like just a bunch of noise. Weren't those... Anyways, okay. Hopefully I answered all of those questions for you guys. So anyways, there is a Forex channel in the Discord, bro. It's called the non-crypto section of the Discord. So check that out. Anyway, so let's go into ETH real quick here, and then I'll open the floor to any questions. So like I said, I trade a lot of Forex, guys. I don't have time to be monitoring fucking 50 different altcoins. So what I focus on is ETH, and kind of as ETH goes, so does, the rest of the market, in my opinion, for altcoins. Obviously, Bitcoin is still the, commander, but the leader, but ETH is the one I watch. So what I saw in ETH is we were coming into this monthly block, right? We were just getting crushed. We took out these lows, and we were coming into a monthly block, right? So, I mean, this monthly block, this is a monthly block too. But as you can see, this one held up price here, and then we took it out. So, like 101, you should be starting on the highest time frame charts if they give you enough history and marking off these key kind of monthly levels, because there's no reason you shouldn't be looking for at least a bounce around this level. So that's all I did. I marked off the open of that candle. And then I went down to the daily. Right? And I said, okay, we're coming down. Look, we hit the level. I didn't just buy it. I was waiting. I was waiting. BDC was doing nothing, going sideways. And we had this low here. We had a high, and then we had a higher low form, right? So low, a high, and then we had a higher low form here. So what I saw here basically was this could be a bearish order block on the daily forming here. And it's not an order block until this candle breaks the high of it. Again, these wicks to me are noise. I'm ignoring that. So until this high was broken, it was non-order block. But I basically said we're near a monthly level where we can expect bullishness. And then we had a daily order block form, and it was confirmed here. Okay? This candle, this is now an order block because now we have a low, a high, and we had a higher low form. So to me, my logic is this. We have a higher low forming here. This area should hold. We're near a monthly level. I have the daily level as well. Right? And then I had a 4-hour level that I marked. I believe this might even be a 1 hour. Yeah. Then we had, look, so market structure shifts on the lower time frame first. So on the 1 hour chart, we had a down candle before an up move that broke this market structure. And now on the lower time frame, I have a low, a high, and a higher low. So in line with this being a monthly bullish block, this being a potential daily bullish block, to me, I say it's safe to look for a long here. So that's what I did. I believe I bought here. 272 was my entry. Because I'm assuming that if we have a low, a high, we're going to form a higher low here. I want this low to hold. So my risk is there. This is where my stop is, or was. I've adjusted it now. And to me, I was targeting here. So I didn't get in before this high was made, right? I got in over here. But basically, on the higher time frames, I'm bullish because I say we're coming into a monthly area. We had this daily block form. I have this 1 hour block now that's broken market structure. You could have bought this. I didn't. But we made a higher low. So now we have a low, a higher low, a higher high, another higher low, and a higher high. So what's reasonable for me to expect? Well, more upside. What do you see over here? Right? Stops. More stops up there. This was the MEX day, I believe, I think. So what I did is I waited. I didn't get in. Price came back down. Back into my order block, and I bought it here. I think I got in at 272, and my very first target was this high. Because if this is going to be an uptrend, low, high, higher low, right? Because on the 4 hour, this will look a lot more obvious. Right? A low, a high, a higher low. This high needs to be taken out for this to be an uptrend. So I got in, right? I waited because market structure was bullish on the 1 hour before it was on the daily and the 4 hour. So it gave me more time to get in and get a more precise entry with a better R&R. And the reason the R&R is better is because on the lower time frame, I have smaller area and price to work with. So just from here to here, I was able to get a 3R. Stop here based on this low holding. I basically said this low is going to hold because it's going to be a low, a high. I'm thinking this is a higher low. And then this will be a higher high. And it worked out. So what am I expecting? If the whole market is going to continue going up, we can expect more bullishness. So you have a low, a high, a higher low. We have a higher high. Now what do you want to see? Well, this is that monthly level, right? What do we have here? Another order block. That, okay, if we have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, we should form a higher low somewhere around here. This could be a long setup. It might break through this one, and it might go to this one. But my premise is simple. This low has to hold. As long as this low holds, I think we're going to go up more. And I targeted these stops, and I think if we get a retrace and you want to add to your long or you want to get long, I think reasonably we can expect these highs to get taken. So that would line up very well with Bitcoin going up to here. Would be ETH. Market structure is very similar, going up and taking out these highs. So that's kind of my thoughts on the markets right now, guys. Hopefully that was somewhat useful. I don't know. John, this depends on a few things. I place my stop based on the chart. I'll put it usually a couple of points below, maybe $5, $10 below a swing low. I don't really focus on volume at all. I don't believe so. I mean, there's stop. This is a swing high that's unbroken. Okay, this one I guess was tagged, but this is an unbroken swing high. Historical fibs. It's not historical fibs. All you're realizing is that the market moves in ranges, right? Come on, you fucking piece of shit. So fibs are cool because you can do stuff like 62%, right, from this high, boom. What if you do this one to here? Same thing, right? So fibs are very cool. This one only got back to 50, but the all-time high to the all-time low, right? So, I mean, yeah, I pay attention to this kind of stuff. Usually I use the fibs as confluence. No different than you pull this high to this low, you get that 79%. But that doesn't mean anything, right? Like people who just say, oh, well, this low to this high gives you a 79% retracement, so you buy it. It's like, okay, or you look and you realize that there's an order block here, an area, a demand area where we can expect price to be held up. We can expect buying here, and the retracement works out well. The fib is just a measuring tool. Don't get too hot and bothered by the fib. DM me on Discord. Crypto robbing. I don't know who that is. Crypto Trendy. Eagle System guys are part of Crypto Trooper and Chase at Discord. Wouldn't be surprised if it just steals stuff. The fact that this guy, yeah, I don't know. I've made my comments on the Eagle trading system. What is your Discord? Can you tell me your thoughts on crypto robbing? I don't know who that is. Double bottoms, Adam and Steve. I don't fuck with that pattern. Thanks, Trader SZ. Cool. Does anyone have any other questions? My Crunchy Tail, I usually enter on the 1 hour. If I really want to get precise, I go down to the 15-minute, but generally I'm analyzing the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, entry on the 4 hour or 1 hour. PA and fibs should line up, generally. If you're doing the price action correctly and you're watching the right areas, the fibs will line up naturally. Any other questions? Yeah, what I'll do there, CryptoJ, is I will upload this to my YouTube page afterwards. So it will be live on YouTube. Gaps matter, sure. Gaps like to get filled. It's not like a mandatory thing. Like gaps don't have to be filled, but gaps like to get filled. So, this gap, right? This would line up perfectly with that double top that I said would be the filling of this gap. So gaps in price generally like to get filled in, but they do not have to be filled in. Because Donald Duck, a double bottom is price action. It's not a pattern. A double bottom is an area where people are going to put their stops or their entries and shit. So it's easy areas for the market to move to because it's super obvious where people are going to put their stops and breakout traders are going to have their entries. Because for a large entity to fill their trade, they need liquidity. So where do they want to go? They want to go to that liquidity. And any indicator or any pattern at the end of the day is defined by price. So if you understand price, you don't need anything else. What Forex pairs do I trade? Great question. I trade the Euro USD. I trade the cable, which is the Great British Pound USD. I trade the dollar CAD, which is the US dollar Canadian dollar. And then I obviously always look at the dollar index because each of those pairs has a direct correlation to the dollar index itself, which is the US dollar, because they are all either paired against it or with it. Hope that answers your question. Mary Term, mwah, there's your fucking kiss, you homo. How do you weigh stop losses, higher R versus looser stop? So for stop losses, this is going to be based on your strategy, right? So there's formulas you can do. It depends what type of trade you're doing. But at the end of the day, you just need to know how much of your portfolio you're willing to risk, okay? Once you know how much of your portfolio you're willing to risk, let's say it's $100. Figure out what that is in terms of position size, and that's where your stop should be. Your stop should be based on the chart, but your position size should be determined on your risk tolerance, okay? And our boy Crypto Cred here has done tons of great Medium articles and videos on this kind of shit and posts. At the end of the day, all that matters is what you're willing to risk. R is what matters. The amount that price moves does not matter. So having a looser stop might be fine if you're trading a higher time frame, as long as your position size reflects that your stop is further away from your entry. So you want to get at least a 2-to-1 R or a 3-to-1 R. That's my advice to you in terms of growing your account, allowing you to get trades wrong and not completely crippling yourself. But determining where your stop should be is based on where the chart is. Stop below this swing low, okay? But depending on where I enter, so if my stop is below this swing low and I'm targeting these highs, it's a 3-to-1. It's a good trade, right? But if I'm going to put my stop way down here, that's not a good trade anymore, because it's a less than 1 R. Your stop should be based on the chart, right? This swing low should hold for this uptrend to continue. So that makes sense from a TA perspective. But then determining how big your position is, you need to know that, okay, well, my stop is 1.24% away from my entry. I'm going to use that to determine how much my position is going to be based on where I'm targeting my take profit to be. So long and short of it, Melon, watch Cred's video, read his Medium article. R is all that matters. You want to get as high R as possible, okay? But the amount of dollars that the price moves does not matter, because all that matters is R and then your position size. So find out how much you're willing to risk of your portfolio, 2%, 5%, and then that's how much you should lose if you get stopped out. And whatever your take profit is should be at least 2 times that. What do you think of the DXY? Coming in here to steal my fucking Forex knowledge here, buddy. So we just blew out this high and this high. Obviously, if we're going to continue going up, that's the next area. But to me, you basically got a weekly block here, right? This is it's a rejection area. So, there was your money short coming into this zone. I would mark out this level here. And if this thing is going to keep tumbling, look at that, right? Notice how I marked that out on the weekly here. And then when we zoom into the intraday, you get a perfect retest of that level. So, that was the next short. You've got essentially a bunch of higher lows here that can get taken out. This looks like an area where if it's going to start going up again, this is where it's going to start going up, right? So I'd be looking for bullishness, this week around this area. This daily block. Look for bullishness. They just took out these equal lows here, right? Stop run into an order block. Looks good for a long. I've answered this question so many fucking times. Go watch my old videos. It really depends on the candle. If it's a high time frame candle and the wicks are huge, I'll ignore the wicks. The volume of the trading occurs in the body of the candle, so that's what's most important. Yeah, indicators can often be lagging, and your head and shoulders can get faked out and you can get fucked. Have you ever considered using traditional pivots? It's a leading indicator that's conflict with PA. I see some people do some great work with pivots. I have I have a base level understanding of how they're calculated and how they work. I've turned them on before, but it's just not something I need. Here's the thing: there's so many things in trading out there available to you between indicators and all sorts of shit. At the end of the day, any indicator was made by someone to help confirm their strategy, whether it's getting long, getting short, a trend reversal. That was created by someone to help confirm their bias of what's happening with the trade. To me, I have a system and specific setups I look for that have, proven to have a very high strike rate for me, and provide me all the setups I need. So I'm not looking to add any extra levels or confusion. I don't need it. I have a pretty, well thought out strategy. If things start changing and my fucking, trades start getting worse, yeah, of course. I'm always learning. I'm always checking out new stuff, but I have a very, specific way I trade. And so I just try and focus on that and sharpen that. How long have I been a price action trader? I would say about 3 years. I've been trading in total for 5 years. I got into it in 2013. I didn't really know what I was doing. I lost a bunch of money. I tried all sorts of shit, indicators, gurus, all sorts of shit. Lost a bunch of money. And then in about 2015, I discovered a guy named ICT. I discovered Trader SZ, Tom Dante, and I started learning about price action. And that's when I started doing price action trading. 2015, still lost money. 2016, started having things come together. 2017, I was profitable through the entire year. And 2018 so far has been great. I mean, occasionally, it depends. It depends. I scale out of positions at predefined levels, and generally, once I've kind of locked in my profit, I'll adjust my stop to either break even or to in profit if a trade is really running. Like this Bitcoin long that I'm in from down here, I've scaled off 2/3 of my position and my stop is up here, and I'm just letting the last 1/3 ride, and I'll add to it on dips. So it really depends. Look at H4 support and resistance level, Mayne 94.99. Let's see this cred magic here. Yeah, so I mean, right, what we want to see here is two things, right? So this could be a stop run of these lows into this order block and we can continue up, or this could be a support and resistance flip here, right? So this was support, 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 and this could flip resistance. But this is a daily block. So if this is going to flip resistance, where are you targeting? You're targeting these lows here, right? So for me, I would want to see, for the bullish case on the DXY for this week, I would want to see us kind of stay above 94.50. Otherwise, you could short down through these lows. I mean, I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to just try and short, extreme bullishness, but this might be an area where you could look to hedge your position by opening up a short on the swaps or the futures. I trade USD CAD. Yeah, there's something called evolving R, which you can recalculate based on adding to a position, scaling in and scaling out. It's something I know how to do. It's something that I don't really do a ton of because normally I stay in a trade until I either reach my profit objective or get stopped out. Trader SZ is a guy that I've paid for his content and who I think is a phenomenal trader. And I watch all of his videos and I'm always learning. He trades price action very much like I do, so I find his content amazing. I am 28 years old. 6868. Would that be a good place to long? Do you think longing in the middle of this fucking candle is a good place to long? No. Of course not. Don't get caught trying to catch this fucking thing, right? It's already gone. Wait for a significant retest and then get aboard. Don't FOMO into it. Target delivered. All right, guys, I think this is an hour, so I'm going to sign off here. If anyone has any further questions, now is your time, or forever hold your peace. I just gave you like 5 examples this video of my favorite setup. My favorite setup is when I have a higher time frame perspective of, bullishness or bearishness. I see a low, a high, a higher low form. My best setups are catching this higher low and targeting, a break of the high and a continuation of an uptrend. That's my favorite setup. My other favorite setup is a stop run into an order block. I believe I had a great one with Euro USD that I posted on my Twitter. We had a stop run into a monthly level and then we took off. So those are my favorite setups. Love you guys. Hopefully it won't be so long into the next one. Here's my Discord handle. DM me on Discord if you would like to get an invite. All right, guys. Good chatting you. I'll chat you all soon. Trader Mayne signing out.